Hello, today we are going to take a look at a sci-fi action movie titled, Lucy. Before we begin, shout out to Van Tyren Catterig, Patrice Campbell, and the Friendly Dripsecond. Thank you for your support. If you want to get mentioned in our next video, subscribe and drop a comment. 25-year-old American girl named Lucy is studying in Taipei, Taiwan. Her boyfriend begs her to do him a favor by delivering a case. Lucy wants to know what's in the case, and he tells her that it's just some paperwork. Regardless, Lucy says no, but her boyfriend cuffs the case to her hand, forcing her to deliver the case. She walks into the lobby of a hotel and asks for Mr. Zhang. The receptionist informs her that Mr. Zhang is on his way. Shortly afterwards, few buff men arrive and shoot Lucy's boyfriend. They forcefully take Lucy to a room in the hotel, where she sees dead bodies and throws up. She is made to sit and given a napkin to clean herself. Mr. Zhang appears, his hands covered in the blood of the men he had just murdered. Frightened, Lucy tells him that they have made a terrible mistake, and that she was only supposed to deliver a briefcase. Zhang then connects her to a translator who tells her that they want to know what is in the case. Zhang gives her the code to open the case and all the men back away from her, holding shields. Lucy opens the case shivering, and finds 4 plastic pouches filled with a blue powder. A drugged man is then brought into the room and he is forced to sniff the powder. The man becomes hysterical and starts laughing like a maniac, and Zhang shoots him in the head. The scene then cuts to a lecture conducted by scientist Samuel Norman. He explains that human beings use only 10% of their brain capacity. Lucy wakes up in a hotel room with blood around her abdomen. She soon learns that a pouch containing the blue powder was sewn into her stomach and she must transport it to Europe. The powder is known as CPH4 and it is a highly valuable synthetic drug. 3 other men are dragged into the room, and the 4 of them including Lucy are given passports. While in captivity, a man tries to touch her, and when she resists, she is kicked in the stomach several times. This causes the bag inside her stomach to break open and release a large quantity of the drug into her system. She starts having a seizure and her body moves across the walls in a mind-boggling way. Simultaneously, Norman explains that if a human being reached 40% of brain capacity, they would have control of themselves, others, as well as matter. A student asks him, what would happen if someone unlocked 100% of their brain capacity, to which Norman replies, I have no idea. Lucy wakes up and kills her captors and escapes the room. She steals a gun and walks out of the building, forcing a cab driver to take her to the nearest hospital. On her way, she starts hearing and understanding what people outside on the road are saying. She walks into a surgical theater at the hospital, and observes the scans of the patient who is undergoing surgery. She shoots him and tells the doctor that he would have died anyway. Then she asks the doctor to remove the contents in her stomach. She refuses anesthetic, and while the doctor operates on her, she does not feel any pain. She calls her mom and tells her, I feel everything. I can feel the gravity, I can feel the rotation of the earth, the blood in my veins. She even says that she remembers the taste of her mom's breast milk in her mouth. The doctor then pulls the remaining contents from her stomach and tells her that he is amazed she is still alive, to which Lucy replies, not for long. Having acquired increasingly enhanced physical and mental capabilities, Lucy returns to Mr. Zhang's hotel and kills many of his employees. Zhang is getting a tattoo while listening to music. Lucy approaches him and stabs his hands, trapping him to the chair. Lucy has now become ruthless and emotionless. She explains the changes occurring in her mind and body to Mr. Zhang, who obviously does not understand her. She telepathically extracts the locations of the 3 remaining drug mules from his brain, and learns that they were transported to Berlin, Paris, and Rome. Lucy visits her sister and begins researching her condition. With her growing capabilities, she now knows the exact words another person would say, before they even say it. She discovers and contacts scientist Samuel Norman, whose research may be the key to saving her. Lucy speaks with Norman and provides proof of her developed abilities. Hearing everything that Lucy has to say, Norman is at a loss for words. She tells him that all the things that make her human are fading away. She does not feel pain, emotion, or desire. She tells him that her brain is exploding with knowledge and she doesn't know what to do with it. Norman then encourages her to pass that knowledge on. Having reached 30% of her brain's capacity, Lucy travels to Paris and contacts a local police captain, Pierre Del Rio, to help her find the remaining 3 packets of the drug. During the flight, while she is working on transferring her infinite knowledge to 2 computers, a flight attendant requests her to put them away as the flight is about to descend. She controls his reaction with her mind, and has a sip of champagne. Just then, her body starts to disintegrate as her cells destabilize. The people on the plane start to panic as Lucy locks herself in the toilet. To stave off her disintegration, she consumes more of the drug and her body nearly explodes. Later, she wakes up in a hospital in Paris with 50% brain capacity. Del Rio walks in with a gun and Lucy makes everyone in the room fall asleep, except Del Rio. Lucy then hears a conversation between Zhang and his drug dealers. She gets in a car with Del Rio and drives to a hospital where the police are about to extract the drugs from the other 3 men. Zhang's men arrive at the location before Lucy and Del Rio, and collect the drugs. Lucy, who has never in her life driven before, creates havoc on the streets. They arrive at the hospital during a shootout, and Lucy controls Zhang's men with her mind to retrieve the case of drugs. Unable to lift a finger, the men watch her take the case and leave. Meeting Norman and his colleagues, Lucy agrees to share everything she knows. In the professor's lab, Lucy discusses the nature of time and life and how people's humanity distorts their perceptions. While discussing all of this, Zhang and his men enter the premises. As there is not much time, Lucy is intravenously injected with the contents of all 3 remaining bags of CPH4. Chaos erupts outside between Zhang's men and Del Rio's men, while Lucy's body reacts to the CPH4. Her body changes into a black substance that begins spreading over computers and other electronic objects in the lab, transforming them into a next-generation supercomputer. Lucy mentally begins a space-time journey into the past, and even enters the Mesozoic era, encountering dinosaurs. Then eventually she reaches the oldest discovered ancestor of mankind, who is also referred to by the name, Lucy. She touches fingertips with her, then goes all the way to the beginning of time and witnesses the Big Bang. Meanwhile, Zhang enters the lab and points a gun at Lucy's head. Lucy's journey into the past ends when she sees the first molecule that was created in the universe. Just then, Zhang shoots her, but by then Lucy has reached 100% of her brain capacity and disappears. Only her clothes and the black supercomputer are left behind. Del Rio enters and fatally shoots Zhang. The supercomputer offers a black flash drive and Norman takes it. Afterwards the computer disintegrates. Del Rio asks Norman where Lucy is, immediately after which Del Rio's cell phone buzzes and he sees a text message, "I am everywhere." Lucy's voice is then heard stating, "Life was given to us 1 billion years ago. Now you know what to do with it." If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more awesome movie recaps. Thanks for watching, have a great day.